All right, Tanner. Um, this is just a replay review from one of our inter squad games where you're on the same team as me, so I saved the replay. Um, I am not sure what specific bad habits I want to look at from you. I kind of had some in mind for Cade and KJ. For you, I don't really have anything in mind, so I'm just gonna kind of watch this and see what we have. I did just finish watching the same replay, going over it with Cade, so it's the same replay from his. If you want to talk to him about it afterwards. I think this is fine. This is all good. You never really want to be just like kind of slamming on your brakes too much. Like you kind of are dead stopped here. It is just awkward after kickoff sometimes. But this probably leaves, like, where am I? See, I'm behind you also stopped. I think right there when you back up, that's when you could just go forward. So don't be afraid to cover backboard here because you know that I'm going to be directly behind you. So I'm going to cover whatever you don't cover. So if right here you go up to the backboard, then I'll be covering the pass middle. So we'll have all the options covered. So don't worry about it too much. Just pick one. And then yeah, I remember looking at this from Kate's perspective. It's kind of hard because from the angle that you jumped, you probably didn't have to jump quite as soon as you did because you had a little bit more space. But you end up booming this too far. I guess if you put it on net, it might have been a goal. But you end up booming it too far to Cade. The safer option is to just lob it up, just not as hard as you can. So Cade can just do the work of redirecting it. Good try on the shot there. What? What in the world? What are these? There's little smoke clouds everywhere. I've never seen this in my whole life. Okay, back to the game. That's just gonna be there, I guess. This is fine. Way to turn for that. You tried to go for the double, which is actually the smart play. Really good try there. I want to see that double attempt again. Okay, the thing about going for the double, this is really hard to be fully aware of in game, but you only have 69 boosts. Nice. But when you have like less than 80, it is really hard to go for advanced mechanics, like going for a flip reset or a double touch, because getting multiple touches in one aerial usually takes a lot more boost. Because like you're gonna need to use the boost to hit the ball, and then you're gonna need to save enough boost to kind of move your car again and react to the double. So maybe a little bit risky. I think the double is the right play to go for here in general, but you just have to be really precise when you have this much boost. So keep that in mind. And especially since you're feathering it like this, you're already wasting a little bit more boost than you probably had to. Because in free play, you just have infinite boost. Like in free play, you would have had infinite boost and you would have at least got the second touch there. So just something to keep in mind. To save up kind of that top part of your boost tank. Because I know I, and most people, honestly, are the worst at just throwing the like first 30, like the 100 to 70 boost tank just in the garbage. You tried to put on net. This is a little awkward. I know you wanted to adjust your car, but probably still better to just try to hit it with a nose to your car. That probably would have given you the power that you needed. So I want to talk about why this is okay to go all the way back for boost, because I normally say never do that. But I think you're okay here because you're already past midfield and we still have possession. So by the time it would come back to your turn, I think that we will be fine. Unfortunate touch. Your positioning is good here. I think instead of just like zigzagging, just you know that like this isn't going to be your ball until a little bit more time passes. So instead of just zigzagging, you can use this time to kind of reposition and get more speed. So right now you're just kind of going like down the field. You can maybe just kind of do one of these, or even this way if you want. And that way you'll just have more speed going at the play at the right time, rather than here you don't have a whole lot of speed. Still got the goal though, so Nice shot. This is so good of you to just know that you can clearly grab boosts without being on car cam because literally like the lines are painted on the field and everything. Staying on ball cam when all you're doing is going for boosts, if you know you can just grab the boost without needing to look at it, it's way better because you're just so aware. So good job on that. Probably a little aggressive for you to turn on this. You maybe could have been ready for it here, but once you weren't ready for it, you just sort of like, all right, you get out of the way so you don't bump Cade, and you're just like, all right, that's his ball, and you can maybe like turn upfield so he can pass it to you. But you make it a little bit awkward. You're like in between spots. The flip is a little aggressive. I guess you just want to make sure you don't get beat. But I think you have the beat already. Yeah, I guess maybe the way you jumped, you're probably going to miss unless you flip here because you'll probably go over it. But if you can, just push yourself to not flip unless you need to because then you have more control and you can follow it up a lot easier. So probably the best touch you could get here, I think it's really good to turn it and to jump. You probably could have waited a little bit to jump, but I think it's fine to jump now. What you want to do is you want to fly at the ball and then at the last second kind of pull back. So you're kind of flying at the ball. At the last second you pull back so it hits like the top of your wheels. You can like backflip and then the ball's going to be like right on top of you and you can get a second touch. So whenever you have space in the air, that's kind of the maneuver you want to do because then you'd be able to place the ball like in this kind of empty pocket right here, this little like threat zone or anywhere behind Collins. So this whole zone you have to work with. So you can kind of take like a soft touch on the ball and catch it. And then you just have a one-on-one rather than just kind of booming it to him. That's a good dunk there. You try to get the 50, that's fine. Decent recovery. You could... At this point, once you already jump off, you can switch to car cam, try to get a bump on the goalie on your way through. So you probably want to be on car cam there. But still a good boost steal, good rotation. Once you see that those Cade who went all the way back, you turn upfield here. You saw him. You watch Cade on the left side. You see that he's all the way back and he's not turning midfield now. At this point, you're like, well, I guess it's my turn now. He's going all the way back for something. But I guess I was on the ball now. How did I keep going? I land. Oh, and I bet I flipped to car cam and saw that both you guys were in the middle of nowhere. That's why I turned around. And if I stayed on the ball anyway without doing that, I'm crazy. Yep, I saw both you guys back there. I was like, okay, my turn. But if you would have been pushed up, then I wouldn't have turned around. So. Unfortunate demo. I think the reason you're moving slow is because you and Cade had the same timing and tempo on the ball, so you had to slow down. Good 50. You're just trying to shut him down. This is fine. The way you hit the ball, like the exact angle, there's just no follow-up here. You don't have to flip into this. I guess what I'm noticing so far is I want you to push yourself to get multiple touches on the ball rather than just booming it downfield. And like, I guess you're usually hitting the ball so that they're in an awkward position. You're not like directly giving it to them, but you're also not keeping it in possession for us. So I'd encourage you to push yourself to try to get better touches. Like don't flip on this and maybe you can just follow behind it in 50 with KJ. What else could you do here? I think maybe that flip was a little aggressive too. It pushed you a little bit too far forward. Yeah, I guess maybe what you did is fine. I think you might have been able to go a little bit further left and then like side flip into it to the right and hit it with like the side of your car and then maybe it would roll up the wall rather than bouncing awkwardly. Those little dust clouds are still there. Good try to put off the backboard. Let's see what else, again, what else you could have done for this. And maybe you jump too soon here as well. So you see this touch. Yeah, I think you jumped half a second too soon because your momentum is still going away from the ball. And look where your car's pointing. You're wasting all your boost just trying to readjust. So you want to make sure you get a better landing. This might just been a one-off thing. It might be a habit you have, but just making sure that you have your momentum going the right way before you jump. That's probably as best as you can do, actually. Force them into the side. Not bad. Good boost grab, good speed and positioning here. What I think you're really good at is giving a lot of space when you're third and keeping speed. Like your full speed right here, you probably didn't need to use that boost right there. But your full speed, you can maybe pick up a pad or two. And you're like way well behind midfield. I think a lot of people are trying to be too aggressive, and I think you do a good job of giving this the space that you need. Because then you can react to stuff like this. I think you can turn on that, though. It would be a little risky because your last bag, so... But still puts you in a scary position. Like, KJ could have just done something better with it. It's fine. You get the boost steal. You might have been able to rotate through net here because you're first. Both of us are behind you. So you do this. You can grab this boost, and I think you can rotate through net here and try to get a demo or something. This is good. This is good. You get a good pass middle. Oh, crazy block by KJ. Let's see what else you could have done. I think you just don't quite get... So, when you're trying to pop the ball up to yourself, you have to do this like awkward game where you stop boosting. You want to get a little touch on it. You want to be turning into the ball as you make contact with it to make sure you hit it in the right way. What you're doing, if you watch closely here, is you're turning away from the ball as you make contact to try to get the right hit. And then you have to readjust before you can jump up and follow it. Like you see how you hit it and then kind of turn to the right. You want to be turning into it so it's going the same direction as you. And then you can jump instantly and get way quicker follow-ups. Let's go double. So in this position, like you didn't expect to get the double, that's fine. But then here, you can see that he gave the ball away and he had an awkward recovery right there. There's a very good chance Cade has the ability to boom this ball, and so you can go up the wall. So I don't want this to just get lost in, okay, this is one specific instance where I should have gone up the wall. I want you to think about the game in the right way. The reason I want you to go up the wall here is because you saw that you're first person and you got beat and the ball is being given away to your teammate. Most likely, even if you're not 100% sure, most likely. So when that scenario happens, which that's broad scenario happens a lot. Whenever that happens, you want to look to be a passing play because you know that your teammate has the ability to boom. Which I guess it wouldn't have come to you right there because it probably would have got blocked by KJ in that instance, but I think just something to look out for in the future. Way to know that you have time to get that boost. That's good. And you have all the time in the world here. The reason this is awkward for you, I'm going to tell you already, is look at where you're approaching the ball. If you turn into this ball and hit it here, you're going to hit it into the corner. You had enough time to hit it straight up. When the ball's this far on the opponent's side, like it's almost in the corner even, you want to pop it straight out from the wall. And the way to do that is to hit directly underneath the ball. So you can just follow the ball, go in the ball's trail, and then go up the wall directly behind you. You have enough room to kind of reposition your car there accordingly. And now this is awkward for you because you have to go back around the ball. You almost got the ground pinch there, which would have been crazy. But you made it harder for yourself than it had to be. Oh, I remember that, yeah. I want to look at it again. What the exact mistake was. The reason it happens is because you always want to keep the goal in front of you. You always want to keep like a straight line from like the ball here. You always want to keep that triangle. Oh, I guess I only drew there. Whatever. You want to keep this triangle in front of you at all times. And the second that you drive past that and the goal is now behind you, Keegan knows he can just cut it behind you and he's going to kind of break your axles. Like your hips are essentially turned. And then you thought, and then as soon as you realize that the goal is ever behind you ever, you have to just whip around and keep shadowing. And so that's what happened right there in like broader terms. I know you thought he was going to go up the wall and that would have been fine. But even if he goes up the wall, then what you do is you come here and go off the backboard. Also, I want to be a little picky on kickoffs. I told the same thing to Cade. I'm going to be picky on this because it's the same thing every time. So I want you to get it down to perfection. The way you grab boost here, your card's here. The most important thing when you grab boost, it's a very small thing, but in some instances might make a difference. And again, like I said, same thing every time, so I want you to be as close to perfect as possible. You're going to grab pad. You might not even have to grab that one, but that's fine. You grab. And then you want to grab boost, maybe even do like something like that. And you want to grab, just barely grab the corner of the boost and be pointing as midfield as possible. Even if you lose a bit of speed or grab the boost slower, this position is better than this one, being here and even slightly back. Because then you can cut towards net and save something crazy like that. You still can turn upfield just as fast. But more importantly, you just want to save all of that. So, yeah, when the biggest thing on kickoff, every time you go for boost, try not to go through the boost. Try to just barely grab the corner and turn upfield as much as possible. Maybe even come like behind it. It's not letting me draw. Come behind it like that. I think you just watched it for too long. And when you're watching it like this, you either need to full commit, like, oh, this person's gonna miss, or you need to take a little like loop back and get better angle on it. Like you tried to take the loop back there, and I think you just maybe didn't trust yourself on the read. You just gotta jump a little bit sooner. But that's fine. You're gonna miss some reads sometimes. Good bump on the way through. Way to rotate back post like this. I think maybe you take too long. You have plenty of boost, so like no worries. And once you see that I have possession here, you can probably start turning upfield with us. Or you could have just turned around sooner than that. Like you went way past the goal before turning around. Now like the play is way, we're on offense now, and you're still sitting in that. You probably could be pushed up a little bit. So the magic offensive formation is this magic offensive triangle like this. You want all three corners of this triangle to be a car. Unfortunately, I am way over there, but I still have this side covered. So I think you can kind of preemptively guard that instead of sitting in the middle. I think you can be a little bit more over here, and maybe a little bit further pushed up at the point of contact. Kids there. And then, like, you're kind of doing that zigzag thing again. Just pick a side and then react once the ball is touched. And I think if you're sitting like here at the point of contact, then I think that you'll be better suited to get this ball. Nice try to dunk. Make sure that you hold power slide when you land after an awkward landing. If you hold power slide right here, you could just jump off and then like wave dash or flip afterwards, but you aren't holding power slide and it kills all your momentum. I mean, you still had a pretty decent recovery. I know I talked about grabbing boost like on card cam before, but if you aren't sure you're gonna get it, switching to ball cam for switching to card cam for just half a second is good. Just ensure that you grab it. This is fine and dandy. You're waiting for something to happen. Oh yeah, and I ended up getting the bump there. Same thing here. Look how far past the boost you are. You're way over here. The path that you could take. So you're there. Just start. You go here. Just turn a little bit more here and take this path. Because look how wide you have to swing to get back. Where this path is just a little bit better. Oh, and I was drawing on the wall apparently. Good position here. Way to be ready for that. It's fine. You know that you have to get back to back post. Good awareness. Yeah, going to backboard here is huge. Screw touch. Want to make sure you get boost here, which you're doing. This is all really good. Rocket League. You can maybe like jump and wave dash or something in the middle of that just to build up a little bit more speed, but all good. I think you're just a little bit too close to this. I know you're expecting him to hit the ball. Oh, I think we get scored. Yeah, we literally get scored on right here because I think you're a little bit too close, and I also was expecting him to hit it. You know, it's weird. I don't fully know what went wrong there. Cade should have hit that. I think like you spend a lot of time like not accomplishing much, which I guess maybe the options that you're covering aren't fully there, but I think you are also sitting a little bit in between options. Like in what scenario right here does the ball really come to you? In this position right here, like almost every scenario that could play out here, it's probably not going to go to where you are. And so if that's the case, I guess you want to rotate back post. And you keep rotating like infield. So you could have, when you're right here, you could here commit to rotating back post now and do that loop. Maybe grab pads or whatnot, depending on the speed of the play. And then you're right here. So you see that the ball's going across. So this side is the new back post. And so now here you could rotate back post. But you rotate infield. So at every moment here, you just aren't really accomplishing much. And I think because you are in between positions, you're also moving slower, and that's why you get that mode. But yeah, fine challenge there. Yawning, but I think on this cheat, this is your ball to go for. You like turned away preemptively. You aren't, which says to me that you're not actually watching to see where the ball is going to go. You're just kind of on autopilot a little bit, because if you were actually like waiting to react to the collision, to that like 50-50, then you would be turning for this ball. But maybe you know that I went back left and that's why you're waiting. You're letting me get it. That's probably what you're doing. And this bounce is a little bit in between both of those things. It's in between you going for it or me going for it. I think it's usually better when the person who cheats goes for it. This is fine. So the good decision to catch it, but to take it one step further, which direction do you want the ball to be moving in when you catch it? Maybe this is an accident. Maybe you want to catch it more like on top of your car, but you're still going to be catching in direction. You always want to try to catch it going not right at the goal, going either maybe like straight sideways or maybe diagonally. But when you catch it going right at their goal, you're not going to have enough time to do anything because you're going to drive into the opponents too quickly. So you know that wall is completely wide open right now. You could catch this, take up the wall. You have a full boost tank. You're taking up the wall. You have great mechanics. You could go for a double or flipper set or double touch flipper set or something crazy because you're good at this video game. But now when you just catch it and go forward, there's nothing you can do. So you could have caught it going right or caught it going left. Right probably would have been better. I think you're also just making this a little bit harder than it has to be for yourself. Like, look where you're going. Look where you're going. You're driving away from it and coming at this angle. When what you could do is you take this 50 land and take a better angle to shoot it. And kind of do one of these rather than one of these. Because now it's like so much more awkward where if you would have just done that, you would have had a better shot at it. Or you could have hit off backboard or something. Oh, this is the game with the super long overtime. Okay, so I'm not gonna do the whole thing because the overtime takes forever. And this video is probably already long enough. So, yeah, good stuff, Tanner. I'd say the biggest things for you to work on is sometimes you're really good at being really quick to rotate to third, but there's a few times toward the end there where you're kind of floating in that second position. Um, and yeah, maybe taking better angles at the ball rather than kind of doing that zigzag thing you do to build up more speed because you're kind of sitting a little low speed. I'd love to see you just to have more speed at the time of collision to get to the ball faster. But yeah, overall, good stuff.